There is a moment most people never talk about. Not a depression, not a breakdown, just you look into the mirror one day and you don't fully recognize who is looking back. Not in a dramatic way, more like unsettling feeling. When did I become this person?
You just ask the same questions every week.
Maybe you've been functioning okay from the outside, going through the motions, do the work, but somewhere deep down you feel disconnected from yourself, from your choices, from who you thought you were becoming. If that feels familiar, stay with me, because what I am about to share isn't just a theory. It's something I lived through, and it changed everything what I know about identity. A few years ago I lost myself completely, not gradually, suddenly. I was deep in addiction, and when you is at this place, you don't feel like you're losing yourself. You feel like you are yourself. That's a trap. The substances, the chows, the patterns, they just start to feel like your personality. Like this is just who you are now. And then I went through psychosis. I'm not going to dress that up. It was the most terrifying experience in my life. The line between what was real and what wasn't completely dissolved. And when I came back from that, I didn't know who I was. Not in a poetic way like most people use on Instagram. I mean literally, the version of me who was existed before felt like a stranger. And here's what nobody tells you about recovery, about transition and about rebuilding. The hardest part isn't pain. The hardest part is the silence after.
I can no longer avoid this part of me. I embrace my shadow and it becomes one with me. I am whole now.
When the choice is gone and you just left with yourself and you realize you have no idea who that is anymore. So why does this happen? Why do people lose themselves? Even without addiction, even without trauma. Here's what I've come to understand. You don't lose yourself all at once. You lose it by layers. Every time you make a choice that isn't yours, every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you shrink yourself to fit into a relationship, a job, an identity that someone else gave you, a layer disappears slowly, quietly, until one day you wake up and the person living your life doesn't feel like you anymore. Psychology calls this identity diffusion. When your sense of self becomes blurred, fragmented, you start borrowing identities from relationship, from roles, from substances, from social media.
What is happening? I won't let this define me.
Anything to fill the gap where you used to be. And here's the trap most people fall into. They try to rediscover themselves by looking outward. New city, new relationship, new routine. And those things can help. But don't get me wrong. I lived in Thailand, I lived in Bali, I sought expansion. But if you haven't done internal work, you just bring the same fragmented self to different locations. Carl Jung talked about this. He said the most important journey you will ever take is inward. He called it individuation, the process of becoming who you actually are. Beneath all the layers the world would put on you. But here's the thing that Jung didn't say clearly enough. Individuation is not a comfortable thing. It requires to sit with the part of yourself you've been running from. The shame, the contradictions, the desires you've suppressed. The version of you that exists before the performance starts. Most people never go there because the performance collapsed, the addiction collapsed, the identity collapsed. And in that rubble I found something. Not a new self, not a reinvented version. Something that had been there the whole time, just buried in layers of time. So how to finally rediscover of who you are? Not with a personality test, not with a vision board, not with another self-help book. Here's what actually works, at least for me and the people I've talked to. Step 1. Stop trying to find yourself. Start listening yourself. There is a difference. Finding implies searching outside. Listening means going quiet enough to hear what's inside. What do you feel before you think about what you are supposed to feel? What do you want before you think about what you are supposed to want? Those impulses, the ones you edit before they even reach the mouth, that's where your real selves live. Step 2. Look at what you are keep coming back to. Not what you think you should love, not what looks good on paper. What do you keep returning to when you know there is no reward, even when nobody is watching? For me, it was understanding people, reflecting, creating, even in the darkest moments. I kept coming back to that. That thread, that's identity, not the label. The thread. Step 3. Be willing to disappoint version of yourself others need you to be. This is the hardest one, because some people in your life are attached to who you are now. The old version of yourself. The you that was easier to predict, easier to manage, easier to need. And when you start becoming more yourself, some people will feel it as a threat. That's not your problem to solve. Your job is not consistently be who you were. Your job is to be honest with who you are. I'm not going to tell you that this process is fast. It took me years. It took collapse. It took rebuilding from almost nothing. But here's what I know now that I didn't know then. You were never really lost. You were just covered in others people's expectations, by survival mechanisms, by the identity you built to go through the hard times that you forgot to update when the hard times passed. The real you wasn't destroyed by the chaos. It was waiting on the other side of it. And if you are in the middle of the chaos right now, if you are in transition, in a confusion, the I don't know who I am anymore, I want you to hear this. That feeling isn't a sign that you are broken. It's a sign you are becoming. The discomfort of not knowing who you are is the beginning of finding yourself, true self. Not a performer, not a role. You. That's enough for today. If something in this video hit you, drop a comment, subscribe and press like, because this is just the beginning. See you in next one, so have a good flight, fam.